Alright, guys, so this is for Virgos for March 2018. Now, alright, so whatever confusion, whatever secrets, whatever lies you feel like you're in the midst are going to get solved. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a bad thing. You're going to find out that someone's been doing you dirty or, someone's been stealing from you. This is just whatever, you know, um, whatever like you had going on in your head, whatever truth that you wanted to come out is gonna come out. But I feel like for some of you guys it's gonna come out in a good way. Now, or it could be in a bad way. I don't know. But this is like not having discussions with a person or a situation. This is to me more finding the truth with the way someone's acting. So that will, resonate, right? Now, it's really strange because when I was shuffling Virgo's cards, this isn't for everybody. This was like getting almost like back together with somebody. This was wanting to keep those good feelings alive, and that's what I'm gonna lay that down as. But now for all my Virgos out there, now there's a situation, right, that happened, okay, or is happening, and it's going to take all your might to get the truth out of that situation. It's almost like a second renewing, like you're analyzing the situation or this person a little bit harder. And this can be anything, man. This can be like a love situation, but if you're in a happy kind of love, then you're in a happy kind of love. Like, this isn't you reviewing that. Like, this happens like in the beginning of March, and there's something that like draws your attention, okay? And maybe you, like, with this situation, you haven't had all the clarity, or you haven't had the chance to clear all the dust out of that path, or, whatever that may be. But, it's like, there's something here that's coming back up, or there's emotions that are coming back up, which I know you guys don't really care to deal with. Now, don't worry, because this won't be for a long time. And it's cool because it's like if you guys were dealing with some kind of issue or some kind of problem, like, it comes up and then it goes away. Now, when it goes away, just make sure that you're not pushing it back under the rug. Like, make sure if there's a conversation or there's hints or there's signs, because I feel like this is more like a conversation that someone or is something, is gonna re-present itself to you, and you've already had like issues with it, and you're like, I've had issues with it. I don't want to deal with it. That's in the past. Like, I don't want to think about it. Like, I don't really want to care about it right now. But Virgo, it's like, don't sweep it under the rug, because yeah, things might go smooth when you do sweep it under the rug and you choose not to have that conversation, or you choose not to accept that clarity. But something's popping back up and it wants you to see it. And, it's like your choice. Do you want to move past it? And do you want to talk about it, which is not really your style? I know you guys want to like take things head on, or at least you think you do. I'm sorry, not trying to be rude, but it's just in terms of March, that's the way it's perceiving to me. So either you can take it on and you can face it full force, and you could talk about these issues, and you could talk about these things that have been happening or that have been going on, and they get cleared up, and you move past them in a good, positive direction. Or you could choose to be the ones that sweep it under the rug. Like, if something recently bad just happened, or something from your past pops back up and you don't want to have to deal with it, and you sweep it under the rug and you put on this persona, which you guys shouldn't be doing anyways, because you guys aren't the best at putting on like a fake mask. It always leads to deeper things in the future. Okay, that's what this is going to turn out to. So that's your choice. And what it's asking you to do is be more emotional during this time. Even if it's about the littlest things, you're not going to aggravate anybody. You're not going to you're not going to be wrong in this situation, is what they're telling me. Like, you're not going to be wrong, because in the past, I always ask, what was going on then that needs to be released now? And it's very strange, because it's almost like you have your own energy. So it's like you're focused on yourself, and you're doing these things that in your firm belief you thought was right, and what you thought was trust, and what you thought was loyalty, and what you thought was exposure. Well, if you're going to really be true, you have to get deeper than that. And that's what it's asking you. So it's like release the way that you dealt with situations before. And I know it seems like it's a hard pill to swallow, like Virgo, like release how you dealt with situations, because you're like, well, they kind of always work for me. Well, no, obviously, like, I mean, yes, they did, but now even years or months or weeks go by, and now the situation is resurfacing. So take a look at yourself. Even though I don't think you were in the wrong here, I think you were in the right. There's a lot of loyalty that goes on with you, and there was a lot of trust. All right, so maybe this is someone or something else that's popping up and making you look at them, and either they're bringing this up to your attention, or you are noticing things. Now, be emotional. Okay, because Virgos are very emotional, but they don't choose to talk about it. They don't choose, unless like you are their closest friend. They just feel uncomfortable. So you're feeling uncomfortable with this, and that's going to be your challenge, because when it asks you to be this emotional, or this more caring, or this more intuitive being, like where it asks you, please follow your intuition, please have this conversation, please get to these truths, big or small, like you're not going to want to during the month of March. And I feel like that's going to lead to worse problems with you guys. So it's asking you, like, where this is all coming from is because someone or something, or the universe, God, whatever you believe in, is like asking you to just tap into your emotional self, get those feelings out, and you won't have to deal with it again. As harsh, as weird, uncomfortable as that may seem, like you need to do this, right? So it's like, and your intuition keeps telling you to have a conversation, to have a talk, to be clear, to speak about things that you actually feel, right? And even though you don't want to, you want to just push it off, or like this other person you're dealing with, or this other situation you're dealing with just kind of wants to, it just keeps getting brushed off and brushed off. It's like it needs to come up. Because if it doesn't, I'm telling you right now, it's going to bite you in the ass. And this is not a negative thing, because you can take this and make it awesome, because and I'm seeing like in your guys' near future, things get really good again. Things get really sexual again. Things get passionate. You're passionate about life. All your energy just seems to come back to you in the middle of March, right? The end of March. And it may be because of the good weather. And, like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, warm weather is always, like, a nice thing. It always actually improves people's moods. But, like, you know what I'm saying. There's going to be something in the middle or end of March where it's like your energy is restored. Like, you feel like you've came back to life. And so that might be weird, because if you come back to life and you're ready to take on your life and your situations and your people full force, now isn't that thing that you're pushing under the rug going to get brought up again? So it's like, if you don't handle it now, it's going to come up later, and you're going to be angry, and you're going to be dealing with it in the wrong way. You're going to be unpredictable, and you're going to be coming off as selfish and egotistic if you don't deal with that in the first part of the month or now. So, and if you do deal with it, then things are going to get so passionate and so, like, romantic, and then sparks will fly. So it's like, if you feel like you're going to lose your upper hand in this by being that person who's more emotional and wants to talk about things, you're not. It's because, like I said, it just depends on how you deal with it. So that's how I'm going to keep that. Now, beautiful, beautiful. Because I think, like, in March, just in general, right? I mean, I feel like you guys are just happy, and you're so happy. But you're not, again, like, you're not expressing it, which is okay. Like, because to family members, to friends, they can only see, like, the borderline of what you show them, right? Or what you tell them. So, this to me is like more of a deeper meaning. This to me is more of what goes on behind closed doors. That's it. Like, what goes on behind closed doors for you is so much more meaningful than what everyone else sees. Maybe you have a shit job and maybe you make shit money, but maybe you like the people you work with and maybe you like the thing that you do. Maybe your family members or your friends don't like the person who you're involved with, the person you're fucking, the person that you're dating. But you do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like through March you do have like that sense of full-on happiness. So it's like whatever the situation may be, talk about it, get it out of the way. Because either way, it's like you're still going to be happy, but just don't, like, just make sure it's not a happiness that is unfulfilled. Make sure everything is out in the open to where you're not, like, okay, like, make sure everything is out in the open. Make sure you've talked about everything because you don't want to be that Virgo who swept things under the rug and you feel like things are happy when it was an illusion. You get what I'm saying? So just please, please, please make sure when that opportunity comes up, you express and you talk about it and you feel this other emotion that's coming into you. Okay? Because I did pull a love card, and the love card's a little bit weird. It goes both ways. Partner-wise, now, let me just say this. So, a partner that you're dealing with, anybody, because to me, I always pull cards for if you have a husband, if you have a wife, good or bad, and if you have a relationship and it's so good, or if you have a relationship where it's fucking terrible, or if you have a crush, or if you have a fuck buddy. That's what I do. That's how I pull my romantic cards. And this one for you guys is talking about how this other person is feeling almost judged. Don't let them feel judged. They're feeling like they're in a judgmental state. And honestly, I feel like because they can't express themselves. Now, if you're in a really good relationship, this might only be temporary, but just make sure you're assuring them, make sure you're not accusing them, make sure you're not being too opinionated, because Virgos do sometimes when they're in a relationship, even though they love somebody, but they're so practical that they think that their way is like, you know, the best way, but not in an egotistic way. It's just because they want their other person to be happy, and this is their beliefs, and this is what always made them happy, but sometimes that doesn't make those other people happy in your environment. So, when it comes to your romantic person, just, you know, make sure that they're on the same page as you, right? Because you could be giving too much, or you can be giving too less, and I feel like for some of you guys are giving a little bit too less, because either it became very routine, or it's starting to become routine, and you change the person that you were. So it's like if you're starting to talk to somebody and like you have a crush, or you just started dating somebody from under a year, I feel like all of a sudden this is going to be the time where your true Virgo personality comes out, and you're going to be more along the lines of being your true self, and sometimes it's very routine. And when you're like with a wild, you know, girl or guy, it can, or you know, even a subtle, it just this change like kind of surprises people. So just keep that in mind, and you know, obviously if someone loves you, they'll love you, right? And if you're in a relationship, you know, it could be that you're in a relationship and everything becomes so routine, but this person's energy changes and they become more hyper, or they become more like they want to go out and do things, or you become more, you want to go out and do things. But something here is like the personality is not matching up. But now, if you're in a loving, strong relationship, or even if you're not, if you really like this person, you want to make things work out, you bend to one another's interests. So that's, I'm going to put that. Now, in your environment, there's going to be some exciting things that go on. There's still going to be a lot of flirtations. I feel like for some of you guys are getting somebody in your environment who's very, and I feel like this is a male, or if it's a female, she comes across as like wearing sweatpants and hoodies, and she's never dressing up, and which is awesome. I wish we could all do that. But this is somebody who's in your environment who comes across a little bit more masculine, if you know what I mean. But like, they're picking up your mood. They're wanting to go out and do things. They're wanting to go out and experiment. So that's cool. There's going to be some fun people coming into your life. But all this turns, in the end, as thinking about past people, past situations, past relationships, how you've dealt with them before. Like I said before, it's not gonna work this time around. You have to become more emotional to make things work in March, Virgo, and you're gonna see what I mean for some of you. But so yeah, that's how I'm gonna end that. And I do believe that there's gonna be very loving times, and there's gonna be people in situations that you're going to meet up with, either good or bad, and they're going to make you realize something. They're either going to make you miss something really bad, or they're going to put into perspective, like, this isn't really, like, maybe the life I want anymore, so I'm going to change my ways. Like, oh my God, like, I've always been that person. Like, I don't want to be that person anymore. I'm getting older. I'm getting nothing but older. Or it's going to turn into the fact that, you're going to meet up with these people and you're going through a hard time and you enjoy it because they open your eyes to the person that you used to be. But I think that's only for like 15% of you. Where like they open the eyes to the person that you used to be and you break out of some kind of routine. So, I love you, Virgos. It was fun reading you guys, and I hope to see you in the middle of March.